or hold it. Hey, everybody, welcome to Timeline Media. I'm Tennille, your hostess with the mostest. We have Mr. Lloyd Ford on today, so I hope that y'all enjoy this. This is something, Miles, you all in my camera shot.
Yo, man, whatever. You the one that got like all these contraptions and all this junk
I'm
going
trying
on
to
in the
get
middle of
my
my
life
life.
together in here, you know?
Yo, you killing me. I don't have no
Take this
microphone.
off because it does the most every week.
Turn this way so look at that. Look at that. We can see all y'all.
Oh, it's
We can
leaning.
see everybody.
Why's the table leaning? You're missing. Look, see?
Hey, Miss Nana.
What's up, you guys? This is I'm Just Saying. I'm your host, Tennille, and make sure that you keep it locked right here each and every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on I'm Just Saying on 95.3 Jam. Now
I'm
let's
just
get this
saying.
party started.
Who's singing this song? Is this you singing? I never asked you this. Are you singing?
Good morning, everybody. I hope that you guys saw the snow flurries.
Booyah, booyah, booyah.
Did you guys see the flurries out there?
Man, so I heard it was not wow. I heard it was some
It's
snow out
snowing
there.
in
It was snowing in Sugar Land too.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so not
That's
from where I
all
came
over
from.
Houston. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us today on I'm Just. I love my show, and we have a really great show planned for you today.
Man, I don't know. I might exit the stage left on this show.
Well, stage left.
Nah, the show's gonna be dope. Stage gonna be dope. Yo, stage gonna be dope. The show's gonna be dope.
Also,
what am I talking about?
remember, everybody, I finally have my YouTube up. I'm gonna need some subscribers though. Look, definitely need y'all to get on there. Miles, get out of my camera.
Man, I can't work.
My
with...
gosh,
Man,
Miles.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad that you're here, Miles.
She put the camera right next to my face and told me to get out of it.
I know he's got a big head. I didn't realize his head was that big.
Yo, I'm 6'5". Yo, if I had a small head, I'd be Beetlejuice. Like, come on, let's get it real.
This is why they love us, Miles. This is exactly why right here.
Yo, man.
You're a hot mess.
God bless y'all.
Woo, snowing in Tomball.
Snowing, man. Yo, snowing in Houston.
November.
Don't worry, it'll be 90 degrees by Monday.
One of my friends posted that you guys have some ugly coats. I'm gonna need y'all to get your coat game up. Everybody's pulling out these coats that they've had for umpteen years.
1987
to pull out.
Finally
really
get that
out of style. I'm gonna need you to get on Amazon or whatever you need to do.
Those 8-ball jackets coming back.
Get your little cheap coat that look cute.
8-ball coming back.
Definitely don't do that. Leave the starters where they were too, because
they coming back too. Watch, I guarantee you they're gonna be back.
I went to Dallas this weekend.
I saw
a couple starters.
They back. I'm telling you, the starters are back. We had an 8-ball jacket at the Jam Fest. I'm telling you, they coming back.
We definitely need to do a coat drive.
What's called? Matter of fact, I think what's called just did one this weekend. What's his name? The comedian. Mal just did one. Okay. He did one this weekend. But anyway, yeah. So we need a coat drive. I need a coat drive. I have one jacket that was given to me by a school that I work for. I'm a sweater guy. I don't really have it. Because jackets.
Yeah, you look like you're pretty warm.
Yeah, I'm a warm dude, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like jackets, you put them on, like when they're not comfortable to drive in, and then you only have them on for 2 minutes.
Because you have to take them off while you drive. I definitely
take them off while you drive, and then you park, and then you put it on to be in it for like 37 seconds, and then you get in the building and you take it off. Like sweaters, you can rock all day. Okay. Too much thought process. I'm a sweater guy.
He's thinking way too hard about the coats, I think.
Hey man, whatever.
Okay, let's do a little recap. Last week there were, the elections. How do you feel about what happened, Miles? We haven't had a chance to discuss that.
The elections?
Yeah. How do you think it went?
Well, we obviously there was some positive stuff, right? We had 19 African American women.
I was gonna say
make the judges.
That's obviously the highlight of the elections for me. If I must say so myself, the Black women judges.
Yo, that's dope.
Awesome. I thought that was really awesome. Even if nothing else, like if they get in there and do exactly like the rest of the politicians do and don't do anything for the community, I'm glad that some African American women got a pay raise.
Yo, I wonder how many of them were bachelorettes though. Did you see? I want to talk about for me. There's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of guys out there that want to know these questions. Hey guys, I'm here for you. Hey guys, I'm here for you, man.
They've been studying their craft.
Go down to the courthouse and get your Cadillac and some flowers and wait at the front door.
They gotta come up in a Cadillac.
Yo, man, show up in Escalade. That's gonna be a lot better than showing up in a Accord.
Oh, I'm gonna think you too.
These are judges.
Come up in that.
Nah, it's all right. It's perfectly cool. But did you see the Republican judge that didn't win? So the next day he pardoned.
Pouted. Let's say what it was. It was a pout.
And let everybody off. Yeah. You see the guy, he let everybody out. Everybody that came to his court, he brought them back that he had convicted.
He said he didn't want any problems.
But here's what he said. He asked them, will you kill anybody again? If they said no, he let them out. He pardoned them.
Amen. Amen. Okay.
He was upset.
That day, they was some winners.
Now the other guy part. Now the other guy, you talk about the powder that they called him all kind of names or whatever.
Yeah,
I saw that guy. No, I was talking about that guy.
People were really going in, saying that they weren't going to be able to do their jobs effectively and all of this kind of stuff.
Ooh,
and I was just like,
I know.
I was like, really, anybody who gets elected into anything could potentially not do their job well.
But that's not
true.
true.
Get depressed tomorrow,
I actually know some black female judges from before this, and they do a great job, and they've done it for years. So
I'm
keep
gonna
it
hope
up.
that they all do a really wonderful job. Y'all don't go out there getting in trouble thinking you're gonna get off. Just
go
stay in your district.
Go first your way out of it.
Definitely not. Okay. Let's do our weekend recap as well.
Let's go.
How was your weekend, Mousy?
Wah,
wah, wah.
No. I
was gonna put a sound effect on your weekend.
Nah, so I had to do some coaching. I did that, and then the rest of it, I spent some time with the hospital. Family stuff. But other than that, can't complain.
Okay, all right.
How was your weekend?
You still look healthy. I went to Dallas for the weekend. It was
it was Mom's B-Day. Mom, how was that? Did she turn up?
I'm gonna tell you.
Mom turns up. I saw it on Mom.
I tried to get my mom to turn up. She definitely didn't want to do that because we had a wedding to go to. I went to yet another phenomenal Nigerian wedding. Like, if I could claim being Nigerian, I definitely would, because I'm down for the money dance.
The money dance is everything.
I really wish I could get one of those, rumps that they got. I need to do a little bum dance myself.
Oh my God.
I love it. I love the culture. I love, people from different languages, different cultures coming all in together to support these kids. I definitely was in the room. I felt like there was love there. It was really cute because during the wedding, the bride said, when the pastor said, richer or poor, she said richer or richer, and I must have died. It was so funny. I thought that was so hilarious. Like, if I get married again, then that's what I'm gonna say. Richer or richer. Let's just be serious about it.
So I talked to a girl. I won't say I dated. We didn't get that far, but I did talk to a girl that was Nigerian at one point. They were kind of, we were talking about like they have the different ceremonies around the wedding. But do you know that like the week before the wedding is like hazing for the groom? I didn't like they're like, you have to do whatever her mom says, whatever they say. They run you on stupid errands.
Oh, okay.
They do you all kinds of stuff to see.
I think that every black woman deals with that anyway.
No, I mean,
the fathers do that all the time. Just
sending me to go get
plates you gonna fix.
Nah,
they always testing you.
Just
you being sweet and stuff. One time I got caught off guard like that. I was
Did
really
you?
working for the family, and he was like, "We was trying to see how long you was gonna keep it up. You gonna be a good wife."
Who did that?
I was like, "Really?
Who did that?"
Kidding, my God.
If I ever have a daughter, I'm doing it.
My goodness.
If I ever have,
be a real good
I'm doing it. I'm doing it to the son. If I have a daughter, I'm doing it to whoever she dates. He gonna get that work. I'm gonna be like, "Yo, man, can you cut this grass out?"
Yes.
How good are you with fences?
I'm gonna need your help next weekend.
I'll need your help next weekend. I'll be like Bill Cosby and pull out the
party.
Yeah, so.
All righty. Okay, so that's what's up for the weekend. I think it was good. We're gonna play a little bit of music, and I think we got some real deep stuff that we want to get into today. Guys, we have special guest LLoyd Ford on, running for president of the NAACP chapter here in Houston.
Big Lloyd.
If you guys want to get in on this conversation, feel free to call us at 832-779-6652. We're going to put it out there. We're about to go up live. We're going to let him field these questions, because that's what he's going to be doing, especially after last night's interview here. Okay? All right, y'all. This is 95.3 Jams, and I'm just saying, we'll be right back.
Get some angry calls. I've been getting a private number, been calling my phone every last night ever since
the rest of the night.
They trying to threaten me.
Okay, let him come slap over here, and I'll play the next song. Which one you want to play next?
I don't care. This was left up from last night. I ain't had a chance to pick it up yet. I came in. He messed up the computer. He hit me with the scandal.
Okay, so somebody said check the wires because they hear sound.
I'm not an engineer.
Oh, I heard it click. Hey. Let's see what it sounds like.
I'm my live video not
Before
started.
we start. What does this say, Miles? What is this talking about? New holds potentially inappropriate message for review.
Not now.
Chat messages will be flagged.
Not now. Don't do that. That's something you can turn on if you want to.
Hello?
I make sure that no side. Still,
The music is real staticky. That's what they're saying.
Bad things. It's a lot
Okay,
of
what
bad
about?
things
Can you?
that they
Oh, you
wish
can't
and
hear
they
it.
How
wish
about
and they
that now?
Okay, it sounds like it's better now. Hold on one second. Let me go check it. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
bad things. It's a lot of bad things that they wish and they wish and they wish and they wish
Sound like
and
it's
they
better
wish
than
on me. Yeah. Hey, hey. She say, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mama. I'm sorry. 50 dub, I even got it tatted on me. 81, they're bringing crashes to the party. And you know me. Turn the O2 into the O3.
Make sure you tag me in there. That's a live. It's on Facebook or Instagram.
God's plan.
All right, so after I play the next song, I'll switch with him.
I can't do this on my own.
Oh, it sounds horrible.
Someone watching.
That's what people are hearing.
I've been me since Scarlet Road.
We gotta fix that good one.
What's this?
Let's try to twist these tight. What are we supposed to do about that?
Pause the whole show with the music?
How does it sound when y'all talk?
And it just freaking went off. So there's no. So, but it's here.
All right, no music, go right back on.
I guess so. Or play music from my phone. I need to get my plug. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're gonna cut all that off.
It's off.
Well, you gotta see this has a delay. So we're gonna test that out,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna come back. This is your girl Tennille. We're gonna hope that everything gets better here shortly. Amen. Amen.
Right. Well, it is.
We are live. All right.
We are live.
I'm gonna pause that for 2 seconds. Y'all, I am so sorry about that. Use my y'all and my southern drawl here in Texas. You know, we are here. Come on, honey bun. Slide right on over here. Everybody, I would like you to welcome to 95.3 Jams, Lloyd Ford the second, correct?
Yes.
The second. You know, I forgot to say that on my message telling everybody to, you know, tune in. I forgot that. If you want to, you may want to come from this angle here. It might be easier. To tune in today because I really wanted to talk to everybody, and I thought that this was a very important subject, you know, for all of us to get in on because I think we need to know, you know, and I'm not going to just say the young, because age matters, but it doesn't in a sense.
Right.
I think that everybody has been looking for a little bit of change.
Right. For sure.
It's time. There are people trying to offer change, right?
Right.
Trying to offer change. We're going to talk all about it right here. Lloyd, guys, is running for president of the NAACP chapter here in Houston.
Word up.
Is there any other way I need to probably say that? Like, I had a hard time. Like,
Houston chapter, NAACP, Houston chapter,
chapter.
as long as you distinguish, because there's a whole bunch of different chapters within Texas, within Houston, even.
Okay. You're a Houston native, correct?
Yes, third
All
ward,
right.
born and raised.
Okay, y'all. I love to tell when people are hometown people. He's been right here. He's seen it all the way from, you know, a child all the way up.
For sure.
What made you want to get into something that was going to bring about change? Let's start there.
I mean, to be honest, I got my degree in management information systems, so computers, and I was in corporate IT for a number of years. And one thing I got to a point where I really realized, and I was saying, how is this helping my community? Like, how was I using my talent, my degree to come back and kind of help my community? So that kind of led me towards, you know, I grew up in Third Ward. I passed by that NAACP house every day of my life. You know, I went to Yates, went to Ryan. So, you know, I've kind of felt personally.
So, guys, again, ladies and gentlemen, it depends on, you know, like, I know that y'all say, it don't matter where I live. It's how I raise my kids. It's how I do blah, blah, blah. All of those things build a person.
For sure.
From the very beginning. Your surroundings, the people that you have your kids around, all of this brings about who you're going to be. Yeah, oh, y'all talked about this.
Well, not on the show, but a friend of mine, I had a discussion yesterday because we were talking about what's more important, the way you raise your children or the environment around them, or you know, the influence. And I think it's a combination of both. People do not give enough value to environment. Environment is not always where you're from, but it's what they have what they're exposed to.
Right.
And we don't give enough credit to it.
Okay, because I work very hard. You know, I've got some little stinkers on the ground now. I'm always talking about getting them up off the ground, right? So I pay very close attention to the things that I have them around. You know, sometimes you can't control everything, you know, but for people like this who saw the NAACP, because me myself, you know, I always think I'm not really power to the people. That's not who I am. You know, I just am about, you know, doing right within your household. Let's take care of ourselves. Therefore, the community.
You can be about both.
So therefore, the community is right around you because you to raise your house right. If everybody would take responsibility,
for sure, personal responsibility.
But there are those people who reach out and they start teaching those other people. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what this guy does. Is that what you do?
I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, you know, get out here. I mean, we've been doing it. We've been doing it.
So tell them that. So it's not like you just like got off your couch and got from behind the PC and was like, yo, I'm gonna go change the world. Like, what have you been doing so far with the NAACP, all the other stuff going on to get you to this point?
I mean, to be honest, I guess I never thought about it being when I was younger. I always was in a place of service because even in third ward, being in middle school, me and my dad did Meals on Wheels for years and years and years, you know, giving back to the community. You know, he had a landscape business in third ward. So after that, after the whole corporate IT and stuff, we started Creative Group Economics, where we do free advertising for all Black-owned businesses.
Okay.
And what I realized just doing that, I realized how many Black-owned businesses wasn't to the level that they needed to be as far as technology. So we expanded there. We say, hey, $600 giving $20, 600 people giving $20 a month, that's $12,000. What could we do with that? So we use that money to help build websites, do a lot of things for Black-owned businesses that need that more hand-to-hand help.
Exactly,
you know, for sure.
Exactly. Because, you know, I tell people this all the time. I'm an entrepreneur, but it definitely, like, I had to straight up get it out the mud. Like, it was all on me. I had to figure all the pieces out. You know, I'm a whole trucker. I don't look like a trucker, but I'm a trucker. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You can't judge a book by its cover. And a lot of people like me moving here to Houston, I didn't have those resources to just jump in my lap. Like, I don't know who to go and talk to. Right. I had to find every little piece by myself, you know, but luckily, again, we've been in business for 10 years. We rolling, you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that this second business goes the same way, but I definitely need some help with some websites and whatever else. I have talked to some, you know, people in regards to getting stuff together, but if people don't know that you're in those binds or you don't put it out there, nobody knows to help you. Okay. So I'm going to say this to my people out there, whoever's listening, whoever's watching this, if you need help, don't be scared to call. And it may not be the first 5 calls to get you what you're looking for. And you may run into some knuckleheads who bust you in the head and take their little money and go on, and you still didn't get what you need. But don't stop. If you really love what it is you do and you're trying to make it better, don't stop. So we're going to talk about not stopping.
For sure.
What got you here? Like, what got you here? I know this was perseverance.
Right. I mean, you have to, I feel like anything that we do, we have to push through. We didn't always, you know, I've been a member of the NAACP since 2016.
Okay.
And, you know, it wasn't like we just all of a sudden say, hey, we want to be leaders of the whole thing. We literally came there with ways to help, just being a helpmate, just helping. And we realized that some of the things that we were trying to bring to help, they didn't want help in that way.
That was going to be my next question. How well was this received? Because we know old heads, and we know old heads don't like to receive the new because they got their set system of how they feel like things should go. Right. So when you offered up those things, how were they received?
Most of the things were received good as long as we were offering it for free or very cheap.
Oh.
You know, which was fine. We did a lot of free work during the storm, but once we realized they were getting funds and getting stuff, you know, on behalf of Black people, but it wasn't going to Black people, then that's when I felt like it kind of turned differently. Like, we needed to make sure it was different. If we were just giving our equity and giving our sweat and helping out an organization, that's fine. But once we realized they're receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars during the storm, but we realized it didn't go towards Black initiatives or Black people, then that's when I feel like it needed to stop. And that's when I feel like we needed to get some things going. And that's what changed our minds for us running.
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. NAACP, define that for people, because I know a lot of people think, oh, that's just another organization that's supposed to be out there to help, that doesn't really help, that's not doing X, Y, and Z. What is the NAACP actually set up to do for the community?
It's really supposed to be set up to, attack a lot of the disparities between racial divide. So whether that be, economics, whether that be education, and what one thing you realize, like we say, to tackle all these things, a lot of people just haven't been seeing it. We haven't seen the movement of NAACP. And what I realized that I feel like what's happened is the fight has changed. Not what's happened to us has changed, but the fight, how we attack it has changed, and the NAACP just hasn't changed with it.
Okay, so we're not going to say no growth. We're just going to say misdirection.
Right. And misdirection in a way, like we feel like even at that time where we can come to them and try to offer them different initiatives to try to bring it to the fight these days, that's not the type of help that they want. They feel they still want to fight it in these old fashions. And we realize that just makes you less effective. And that's why the youth of today really don't know anything about the NAACP.
They don't. And that's why I was asking you to define what it is they're supposed to be, looking at, what they're supposed to be doing. Why is there even going to be an election of new, like they don't know any of this.
I'm gonna put it like this: we don't know because NAACP has become so political, tied into the system right now. Which means when I say that, I mean a lot of things that we want to do for the school system or police reform or different businesses. NAACP is stagnant on those issues because they either receive money, have friends in those organizations or in that structure of power, and by they having friends, they can effectively lead the Black community in those issues.
Got you, because they are, what did they say? Not nonpartisan.
Not nonpartisan.
Not nonpartisan, right? So let's see. So when it comes to situations like that, and that you're dealing or coming up with a battle like that, how do you prepare for that? Because I see you've got your team.
Right.
These are people that that you felt comfortable with dealing with. How did you select your team?
To be honest, there was a lot of people we always, even though they may not have been always actively active in the NAACP, we were always active on the economic development committee, and I seen their work outside of just what they wanted to do, but I just seen how they worked with our people, and I respected their skill and their trade on what they brought to the table, and I thought that we needed that for our community.
Okay, so if you would, for everybody out there, list the team of people that is running with you per se, and tell us. So does each thing get voted on separately, or is it a team effort?
No.
How does this work?
Each person gets voted on separately. You'll have me that's running for president against James Douglas. You're going to have my first vice running Edison Titus. He's the one to vote for. And then we have secretary, Miss C.R. Sewsbury. So she'll be running. So it's not a slate, but you definitely have to vote for us individually. So hopefully everybody go in there and vote for us three and make sure that we,
Okay, just in case we lose some people here, let them know when they can vote. Oh no, let's talk about who can vote, because people may not even know that they can participate in this or who can participate in this.
Right.
So who can vote for this?
Only people that can vote are people that have had memberships of the NAACP before October 16th.
Okay.
And we realized there's a lot of things they even tried to suppress our people from getting memberships. I built the website for not only the Houston chapter, but the Texas chapter as well. And once we announced that we want to run, we immediately seen that it was obstruction in order to kind of take that avenue for us to get memberships from online away. And, they even sued me. They literally had me served on a Friday, then came back and tried to have the court case without us knowing on Monday in order to get our memberships revoked through national. But we caught it.
Why do you feel like they're so set on stopping that movement? Is it the fear of the new wave that they're uncomfortable with?
No, I really don't feel like it's the new wave that they're. I just think it's their way of operating that they don't want to change. We know in the past that they've operated very freely with money and a lot of things that they do, and may not have always been on the up and up. And I think with us new people coming in and trying to bring a little bit more structure to what's going on, I just think, when you have people that's been in the reins of power for so long, it's not so easy to just give up, and to be honest, I think this is the NAACP has been so many people's way of living, as monetary wise. And I just think they may think that type of stuff may stop once new leadership and new blood is inside. Because the same people been literally in power, whether it been the president that been treasurer, whether it been the treasurer that was secretary, the same people been in power since 1999.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So this is truly a source of income for them.
Yes. The director makes $150,000 a year, Londa Smith.
Off of this.
Wow.
Off of that one thing. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Off of that one thing.
Yeah.
So what's next? So let's say I can hit a magic wand and say tomorrow you're the president. What's your first initiative? Like what's the first thing you tackle?
The first initiative that we can do for free is just in advocacy and reaching out towards our own neighborhoods. We know for a fact that the branch that's 3 blocks away have zero connection with the NAACP that's at Texas Southern and U of H. They have literally raised over $700,000 for their Centennial Gala, but you literally have the college students trying to raise $1,000 for initiative. They have zero connection. People don't even know right now. 1,500 students wasn't able to vote during the Beto and the November 6th election just from Texas Southern. You know who they're getting from their own law school and their own dean and Texas president that's helping them with that initiative? Zero. But you literally have officials calling students in order to do things or cease and desist things about injustices that they didn't have when they literally have people of the organization in their own law school within the college, but they get no help from these people.
This is why it is so important for, like I have a ton of fun on this show. We know that. But I always love to do my small business highlight. I love to educate people. That is my thing. Education, entertaining, and enlightening. Okay. So we're getting some real serious enlightening because I had no idea that many people, because you think, even when I was growing up, our parents may not have shared as much information as needed to be shared, or this is the main reason why it's important for you to stay a part of those societies. And like even with paying your NAACP membership, like they taught us all that in high school. How many of us kept up with it?
No,
none.
My mom and dad actually took me and had me join NAACP when I was a kid. Like you didn't have a choice. But I moved so far away from that because of the same thing you say. It didn't feel like it was in touch with what was going on anymore. I didn't even know how to be a part, how to you could change it. I just felt like they would
just stagnant.
Not only just stagnant, I felt like at some point it was being controlled by something that wasn't beneficial to us.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have any proof in it. That's just the feeling I had inside.
No, you're right.
So I walked away.
I was going to ask you this, since we know they say there's over 5,000 members in the Houston chapter. I'll ask you this: in the last election, how many people you think voted?
I would say very few.
How much would you get?
Because I think that a lot of that is probably okay. Let's say
voted in NAACP election.
Voted in NAACP election, knowing
I'm saying less than 30%.
They deal with millions of dollars a year, and they have that many members.
I probably say about 300-400, if that much.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
I'm definitely saying less than 30%. So yeah,
29.
Wow.
And that's very accurate because I can honestly say 29? NAACP is probably something that people feel like they send their dues to every month.
Yeah, they send their dues.
And that's all they have to do is send their dues, have to be active. I don't think there's a lot of some organizations that people really aren't very active.
And so that they can say that they're a part of it. Like
we
have to stop doing that.
Well, I mean, it's not even really that, because you have to go in there and really click to renew your stuff. And even if you go look at some of the reports, you will see they don't have that many members signing up per month. And I just put it like this: I have more people in my committee meeting than all the other committees combined. Okay. And when I first got in there,
why do you feel like you're saying that they're not out there voting, they're not actually taking participation in this? Why do you feel like, other than the fact that we don't know, because they're clearly members, but why are they not participating?
I mean, the ones that I talk to, is the same thing. Is like my man said. They see it's not a lot going on. I have a lot of people that went to some of the general meetings. When you go to general meetings, they said all they heard them talk about was the October Centennial Gala for the entire year. So every year, the entire year is about raising money and events, what type of events they can do to raise more money. It's never what they can do for the community.
Next, what's your plan to change these things?
Yeah, what's the future?
Give us some steps of your plan. Like, what are some pieces of the puzzle that we
give you all of it, but I get a little bit now.
If it comes up, what's part of your plan? Like, we want the people out there who have the opportunity to vote, who can vote, to know, what you're gonna do different.
For one, it'll be it's strategic partnership. It's economic development and highlighting those actual organizations that's actually doing the work and seeing how we can aid them in what they're already doing. One thing we don't want to do is recreate the wheel. So if it's organizations that's out there that's doing good things, but they can't have or they don't have the, I would say the clout to go get money like the NAACP, because I hate to say NAACP is part of that good old boys club where they can go get money from the city when disasters pop off. And a lot of our organizations can't do that. So how can we assist some of our organizations in making sure that we're right? But one of the things that we really want to do is they have a house right there next door to NAACP that they own. We say, why don't we start an economic resource center? Not anything that costs you $0, but this allowed to attack some of the stuff that we already going at for us economic development. We know that the city is going through a disparity study right now to say how many people get these contracts through the city, not just minority, but Black,
and lay it on the line where we all can see it.
Exactly.
And go from there.
Exactly. But we want to make sure that we go and highlight all these businesses and make sure that they're getting their just due. We don't just want to be there and say, hey, here's our businesses, go find them. No, we're going to have a strict list and what businesses and what do what and how far they can go in these contracts. And we will have a lawyer on staff to even if one business can't take, I would say, advantage of one big contract, then we'll show them how to strategic partnership up and take advantage of some of these opportunities. So I feel like a lot of our problems start with us being economically sound. And once our money is right, then everything else seems to fall in place.
Okay, let's talk about economics a little bit. The members that you selected on your team, okay, I think that all of them, like I did a little bit of research, but all of them have some type of economic background type, whatever stuff that they've kind of looked at or dabbled in just a little bit. How important, like, because you're saying that that's one of the most important things for the community. How important was that when you were selecting them?
It was very important. I felt like in order for a lot of people that want to be that I chose for the team, I wanted to be a little bit more independent. Yeah, when I say money savvy and independent, because I know about the fight that we're embarking on. If you have a normal 9-to-5 job, people can mess with you on their job.
They definitely can.
But guess what? Nobody can mess with us by being entrepreneurs because only people that set my money is me.
Yes.
So, and I feel like and luckily we went that route because that definitely would have been a factor in some of the things that we do. And if we worked for the city and you were trying to do something like this, who knows who the older people or the older people new in the regime knows in the city that can affect where you work. So
okay, y'all, it don't seem like we're dealing with nobody who don't have a plan together. Okay, I just have to say that. Now, what can they do in regards to next year, or down the line? How do we help start alleviating this issue? How do we get some people, some new blood in there, just in case, things don't fall like they may, or people don't get out there and vote like they're supposed to. How can we start fixing that for the future?
Well, I'll tell you what, win or lose, we want people to come out. It's easy. Get a $30 membership, and that entitles you to
$30. Y'all, you spend more than that at the nail shop, ladies.
For the total year, $30 for the total year, and definitely come be a part. Because we definitely want to hold people accountable. And you can't hold them accountable until you actually are a member. And once you become a member, then you can come help us hold them accountable in any decisions and actions that take place.
Okay, we talked about that in the regular election. These people also need to be held accountable. They need to do the things that they say that they're going to do with the money that is, put out there because he says that they got it. Look,
they got it.
They got it. We want to make sure that it gets to the community. We all need to be a part of the process. Everybody is, complaining about all the different things that go on, not only in our communities, but all of them. Their representation is really important, in all of the cities. So what do you say in regards to, representation? How do you make it known that, we're out there?
I mean, we're making sure we're beating all the drums that can be beat. We make sure we're on the TV waves, we're on the social media. And anybody that want to find us, they can. I say I'm gonna be the busiest, accessible person that you know. Okay. So anybody know? Right after we was on Isaiah Carey Factor last night. I had people definitely calling me about the shortcomings of the NAACP and the help that they tried to get, and they want to know us coming in. How will we be able to help them? I just actively let them know already and reassured them that regardless of what their situation was, that we'll be there to try to help. And if we can't facilitate it, we'll definitely try to point them in the right direction.
Let me ask you this. If we've seen because I think people want to be, what I've noticed with this generation, and people are gonna crucify me for this, is we want to be a part as long as it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't take the chance to miss work. We can't take the chance to make these sacrifices. I'm good. Can I buy a T-shirt and wear it? Kind of generation, right? So therefore, but there are other avenues that we've tried. Like there was a Black Lives Matter movement. There's other things that we've tried. You know, whenever we get upset for a week, how do we make us understand? When I say us, I mean this generation, right? Like it's our age. It's that shortly 25 to 45 range, whatever, I guess.
Right.
How do you have that generation understand that, first of all, the movement doesn't end on Monday?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And how do you make them want to be a part? Is there some marketing that needs to be, without it being corny? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. You want to be corny and have, some cheerleaders with NAACP pom-poms, nothing stupid, but like, how what's the step? Like, how do we bring it back to the people to make them feel like they can be a part of it? They can put their time in and it's worth it. How do we bring that back, as opposed to being the old fogies that our parents messed with in NAACP back then? And then so how do we make them feel that? For those who aren't listening to the shows, like, how do we go back to the community? How do we go back to the colleges? How do we go back and say, hey, we're a part of you and we want to help you. We want to be able to be there for you.
Because I'm going to say, I think a lot of people just don't know. They just don't know the information.
I think they don't. And I think it's a mental block toward it, right? Exactly. So how do we bring that back? Like, how do we make that happen?
I would say this. For one, I realize a lot of people, a lot of people just not investing in a lot of things that is not really affecting them wholeheartedly in their everyday life. And one thing I realized, I say it in this fight for Black people, sometimes you can't let that bother you. I say, hey, if it's only 10% of the people, I'm riding with them, and then other people, sometimes they just gonna see it on the route, on the way that they go. But when it comes to activating the generation, keeping them active, and I just want a T-shirt wearer, is I feel like you can't be more invested in somebody's idea than they are. And when I say that, when people come to me and say, hey, I got this good idea, I want to do this. Like I feel like people are more invested in the things that they feel like that they gave their input in. So that's one thing I try to make sure, that the round table is always open enough where I don't care if you've been to one meeting or 15 meetings. If your idea is a better idea,
if it's awesome, it's awesome.
Exactly.
I'm going to say this too. I'm going to add this to it. I know that a lot of y'all are seeing and hearing NAACP, and you think that only African Americans can join, can participate, can be heard in these meetings. If there's a lot of African Americans in your community, you can get out there too, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're white. Everybody is welcome. Everybody's welcome. Don't ever think that you cannot be involved, that you cannot help your community by joining the NAACP. Has nothing to do with your actual race. Like, they may not want you to be the president or whatever like that, but all of those are mental blocks that people have. You're stopping yourself from doing things, just like we could get into other, what do you call them, affiliations and stuff like this. Stop stopping yourself.
You join the Democratic Party, you join the Republican Party, you can join the NAACP, right?
You can do what you want to do.
I mean,
remember that.
But I always kind of, and more to your question, is keeping people the same. Like, don't get me wrong, we're about charity, but we know at the same time, but we got to make money in order to survive. Right. So we feel like, again, that's attractive to the young folks, because not only are we out there marching and doing stuff for Black folks, but we showing you how to get your business right, how to get your money right, and how to do things in the future that's going to serve you. Yeah. So everything that we do, any initiative that we do these days, we know that it comes with a level of education, because it ain't just going to come and everybody just get it. And we know that, and it's a mindset, because I didn't get it. I didn't get it till I was a little bit older. And don't get me wrong, being in my spirit and being in the neighborhood that I was in, I was performing some of these acts without knowing why I was performing. Right. But now once I woke up, then I realized, hey, I'm performing this stuff because this is something that been put in me. And all of a sudden I'm a fighter, and I don't know why, but now I know why. And once you come into that enlightenment with your own self, then I think sometimes that'll change your own mind.
Because I know we have all gotten to the point where we're like, I'm not going to work with them no more. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do it, But it's so important to the community to be able to do that, to have your kids see you doing things like that, and to help people and pass on knowledge like we're doing right now. Everybody has a different piece of this struggle. Like, this is information being shared that people may not have known. I know y'all thought y'all was gonna tune in and get something funny today, but guess what? It's coming later. You know what I'm saying? But again, we all have a part in the political process, whether it be NAACP or whether it be voting for the real elections. Like, come on now, everybody do your part. I'm gonna do my part here at 95.3 Jams, and we're Houston home for jams, so I better play a little bit of music. We're gonna try one more time, Miles.
I don't know. Let's see how this works.
And then we're gonna get right back into this really deep conversation. I hope that you are learning something from this. I hope that you are being entertained as well, and I hope that you find a way to support these people while they're running for this new election on November the 15th. The address where you can go vote, if you do not know and you have what did you say, a membership to the NAACP, maybe he's not seeing your face, don't be shy, get out there anyway. 2002 Wheeler Street from 7 to 5. Okay, I know y'all gotta work. So you're gonna have to get there early, right at 7 o'clock.
I'm gonna be there at 6 a.m. So anybody want to come get you some Smoothie King, some Chick-fil-A. We're gonna have them out there. You know, people that graduated from Yates and stuff like that, and graduated from the neighborhood, and all support of all our local businesses supporting us.
I'll be there in the morning with you, man.
Come on, man.
Miles always trying to get some food.
No, but I'm real support. I just happen to be in the area, so I'll be there.
Okay, we know this guy's got a lot of work ahead of him. So this is Rihanna with work.
See.
I'm gonna need you to test it since it's playing from my phone. Having a good time?
Oh yeah.
Great.
I always love the conversation, especially when we talk about something serious.
Oh, sure. Let's get it in. Amen.
I had somebody call me this morning like, "Man, see what y'all put on, man. Do you think that's gonna help you, man?" Hey, man.
It will definitely help. And these people, I'm telling you, a lot of people don't know the stuff that's going on out there. Like, they just don't even know how to get involved. Like,
I done had so many people hit me on Facebook like, "Man, I didn't even know that stuff."
My kids decided that they wanted to give out, they wanted to go and do serving instead of like us having our regular whatever. They only 6, right? I'm like, their dad was like, "Well, we just don't go." I said, "It don't work like that no more. You gotta fill out a form. You can't just
license.
If you feed more than 2 people on the street yourself, you gotta have a license. You gotta have this little class." I was like, I'm gonna try to squeeze us in with a church or something, but
you can do it sometimes. I do it every other weekend for New Black Panthers.
Okay. So, are they doing a Thanksgiving thing?
I don't know. I gotta hit them up. I haven't.
Send me the number or something so that I can call them or something. Are they doing Thanksgiving? It's still doing it.
It's that connection.
All right, we're working on that. It's this. We gotta do something with that. Okay. Hey guys, we are back. So sorry about that. I tried. I was trying to give a man's here, LLoyd Ford in the building. I was trying to give him a little bit of break. We've been talking and it's been getting kind of heavy. Miles over there got coming with some good questions. I think I've come with some good questions. I think that we've learned a lot. Okay, I have a couple of more questions. But we're gonna keep rolling with this thing because clearly we can't play any music at the Houston home of jams. It's okay. We're gonna work it all out. Okay, so I know you see my little list over here.
I ain't reading it. I'm letting it come to me spontaneously.
Okay, so this is another thing I'm gonna ask because I know people don't know. When we say NAACP, what actual decisions do they make for the community, if any at all? Do they make any decisions, like you said about this appropriation of funds to certain community projects? Why is it important, and what decisions is it that they make? Just for people to know.
Right. I think it's very important that we pay attention because they do make decisions on behalf of us, whether it be, they have people that they have that sit on the school board for like HCC. I told one of the people, I think her name is Carolyn Shabazz, and they just started the HCC out there in Acres Home, but not one computer class in there. This is 2018. How do you spend, millions of dollars of the public's money, but we get no type of representation for higher learning, real higher learning? Only thing that's in there is trades, and don't get me wrong, that's needed. But at the end of the day, this should be 2018 where you don't have not one computer class in the whole campus.
Because I'm going to tell you this, you would be surprised the amount of households who don't actually have internet.
No, it's amazing.
I had no idea that people were still out here living without internet in their homes, especially with kids trying to do homework, because we get homework assignments on the computer at my children's school. So, and they're in the first grade. So you can imagine what high school's doing.
No, I work with 8th graders. With the nonprofit I work with 8th graders, and we go into the schools and we teach these classes, but we go inside of an elective class. So the elective class that I work inside of is a technology class.
Okay.
And so like some days I can't work, I just help them with their work. And I was helping them literally yesterday, and they didn't know how to right-click save. They didn't know how to highlight a word on Word. Like, I'm like, you're in the 8th grade. Like, where are you? Because you don't have pencil and paper in class. I actually put pencil and paper, you don't have it unless somebody makes you bring it. So how are you doing your work? What are you turning your work in? You can't pencil and paper.
You need to be responsible.
I can't highlight a word on Word. I can't underline a word. Like,
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Be responsible for your household. That is the number one step. I preach this all the time. I tell people this all the time. You know, I can't be out there trying to run everybody else's household because they got their rules, they whatever. I can take care of mine and make sure that piece is taken care of. Right. Y'all need to do exactly the same thing, whether you have kids or not. You have family members, you know, out there struggling and doing whatever else. Take these kids up under your wing. They're your family. Right. Who you think you're going to depend on later? Like, what you say, the NAACP?
Yeah.
They've been out there for 90 years. They're not going to give you your money.
But I think a lot of that, though, and it's how the NAACP like us helps you, is a lot of times that we haven't, we work too much, right? Like we work in 2 jobs and we got little babies, and it's hard to put that time in. So if we can find ways, I think it's both. We have to educate and we have to help educate these kids. But we also have to find ways to make the parents more economically
sound. That's exactly what he's been talking about.
And we're doing that. And I'll tell you why. We just partnership up with it's called the Boss Junior and the Boss Up program at the New World Epicenter. They are Black-owned tech incubator that brought a whole building.
These are definitely things I need to talk about.
These are things that I want to bring to the South Side that even the NAACP current leadership want to deny. And I'm like, these are things, not only are we helping the kids find and do different things, entrepreneur and financial literacy, but we also will help the parents become more financial stable in different jobs and things to help them be more empowered in their life.
Because I think that there should be more second chance programs. Like, I've got all these things in my head. I'm going to tell you right now, it's people out there struggling, looking for jobs, trying to do better with their life. They can't take care of their kids. You can be stressed all day trying to figure out how you're going to feed them when they get home, how you're going to do whatever. If you can't get a job because of the felony situation, because of, all of these different things, like there needs to be other programs out there for people, especially when it's the father. Right. Now, you always want to help the mother. They have a ton of things out there for the mothers and the children. But if the father can't live in the house, like we breaking all these pieces down. If the father can't live in the house because she don't house it, she's not going to get put out of her house, and so the daddy can be. I mean, and there are women who are out there making those decisions every day.
No,
I gotta X you out because my kids need somewhere to stay.
It goes back to like slavery, right? Like the whole, like whenever you got a new slavery family, you take the father, you move into a whole other plantation. That way you can now influence that family, and especially the sons coming up. Yeah, and that's that. They've done it 16 different ways since, whether it be drugs or it be incarceration or whatever, but they still do it every day. And a lot of times we fall into it, not even on purpose. Sometimes, it's a brainwash we don't know. So we have to find ways to get back out there and take our own community every day because nobody else is.
Because that's one of the things that I do with my company is I try to make sure, like I know that there's a ton of people out there who are qualified to be a driver per se. So I have no problem with that. Driver helper, whatever, whatever you need to do. If you need to come work in my office and do some paperwork for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Try to get up on your feet and do what you need to do. Like, I have no problem with that, but I understand why people look at people a certain way or why they do certain things. Just like with you running for this office, they're probably saying, you know what? This little young buck running around here with his with a hard on, that he might not be who we need,
But I tell you the same thing, like even in how many times have the leadership now, when you look at, like you say, second chance training, I've met with over 8 different second chance training programs here in Houston alone with doing welding, doing type of work. I went and got my real estate license just so I can have that information so we can open up different avenues for people
Amen.
to have different jobs, you know, whether that be welding, whether that be carpentry, you know, different things, entrepreneur apprenticeship programs, you know, that we even will bring to like that resource center type of help. But again,
It
until
makes
you have
high
people in shoes,
turnover and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Like there are so many factors to that. But remember, if people are out there trying to help you in your situation, make sure you do right by them. That's another thing that that's big on that. Like just do right by them. I can't preach it enough. I'm not gonna get on my soapbox because that's one of my big things. But again, take care of your household first. Spread on knowledge like this, like we're doing here. That's all we can do. All I can do is reach those people immediate to me. I got a little bit of a platform here. I ain't all that big, but you know what I'm saying? I'm working, I'm trying to get there. So things like this are important to me and they should be important to you guys out there. What else do you think is really important for people to know, going into this election, going into next year? What do you think? What do you think people need to know in regards to, upping the game?
right. I mean, I think people need to know. I think one thing we really don't know, or people didn't really realize how much the NAACP gets or interacts on their behalf, even though they're a part or not a part. So what I want to let people know, if you really want to hold your communities and stuff accountable, it don't stop with just a vote. You know, so you can go out there and vote all day, but like you say, once that next Monday hit, the vote is over.
It's over.
So now what are
Time
we
to get to
doing in
work.
order? If we
Right,
got,
and
we
that's what I'm
need
saying.
personal
What's the next
responsibility.
step? What's the next step? Personal responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, y'all heard it here, right here. You got to take responsibility for yourself. Stop waiting on everybody else to push you out the door and do whatever. If you want to be involved, you want to get involved, just do it. Like Nike
Right.
says, just
coming.
do it.
I'm coming. I'm gonna come.
Come on, man.
I'm definitely gonna come. I'll be there Thursday. I'm gonna join NAACP sometime soon. I'm gonna try to help you, man, where you can.
I appreciate it, man.
I
They
mean-
won't let you join now because since I gave back the
Right.
website, they shut the website down. You can't
No, I
join
said,
even
I know-
if
I
you
know.
want to.
Whenever the suppression's over, I'm gonna come join.
Whenever the suppression.
I'll come join. I'll come join and
I appreciate it, man.
anything before that, man. You need me at any point, man. I'll give you my info. We'll get it done.
Appreciate it,
Woo,
man.
look
Thank
at
you.
that. See, look at
That's
Miles
support right
stepping
there,
up
man.
Always, man.
and
This is
teaching
what
the
we love.
kids and coaching and you're phenomenal over there.
I'm gonna hit him up and how we can support on what he's doing. So it ain't just
Amen.
about what I'm doing. I'm saying, hey, what are your program? Who you working with?
Yeah.
How can we support what y'all already been
I
doing?
have a couple. We gonna talk. We'll
See?
sit and talk, man. We'll definitely.
That's
sit and
after,
talk.
hey, after we gonna get something done.
We'll pop for real.
Okay, so I want to say this. You are running for an office. How do you feel in regards to city council here in Houston, jobs being done, just so that people know, from somebody who's kind of in the political realm a little, like, because you have to watch those things,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, I do. I pay attention because we'll be building Houston's first vote now. It'll be called Houston Votes. And then, it'll be holding people a lot more accountable on what they're doing. So I pay attention on that end. Don't get me wrong. Do I want to do politics? No. Don't get, because
You
I
may be
feel like,
pushed, you may be pushed into that.
oh, I know they're trying to push me now, but I'm really all about, black people and how I can help push black people and blacks, initiatives. And I feel like being a city official, sometimes you have to be more inclusive, and which is fine. I don't have a problem with anybody. But as far as now, with my mission, I say I have no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, just permanent interests, and that's black people.
Okay, all
That's
right.
what's
I
up.
like that. Also, while we have you here and you have talked about, because I always like to tell people about, their small businesses and growing and how they can do this. You said several different types of businesses. What can they do maybe to get in contact with you to be able to either take part in something or to, get a real estate something or, anything? How is it that they need to go about contacting you, getting a hold to you, maybe getting some of this information off of you,
I mean, hey, you can always reach me at creativegroupEconomics.com, 4 Can't Lose on Instagram, Realty with Lloyd. If you're looking at real estate type stuff, you can always call me at 832-226-6033. I'm easy, so I give my number out to everybody. I know people are always looking at that crazy, but definitely come and be a part of anything that we got going. And you can find me anywhere.
Anywhere on social media.
creativegroupEconomics@gmail.com if you want to send an email.
How important are these websites? You talked about websites early on and being able to create those things. How important to small business is a website?
It's very important because I think right now when anybody thinks about you or your business, the first thing that they do is go to your website, or try to go to your social media, anything that they can find you online. But even just above just small businesses, my organization built the website for Acres Home Super Neighborhood. Okay. So it's informational. It lets people know where they can find their information, where can they go to get help in their neighborhoods, who's in charge.
Okay.
So, just a whole self-help, and hopefully we'll be doing the same thing for Third Ward, Sunnyside, in order for people to have that information.
Okay, I can definitely teach classes. I'm not good with the kids, but I got my own,
You don't need double kids? Come on.
I don't need double the kids. I can go out there and deal with them for a little bit, but on that long term, y'all teachers, I'm gonna tell you, I gotta give big ups, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely come and teach class after I get a little training, I probably can help y'all out with something
come on. I tell my wife all the time, I commend her, 4th grade. All the power to you. I don't have that much patience. I need high school. I know you know what I'm telling you what to do.
High school because they all still think I'm cute. I'm old. Okay, stop playing with me. I don't want you.
You don't get that pass.
I need that chick. You don't have one yet, so
you'll come to it. Won't be a women me too. It's gonna be a dude me too.
Me too. Oh,
he too.
What you say? He too.
That stuff happened in high school.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in today because we have had a really good time. I think that we learned a lot. I'm very happy about that as well. If you have any other agenda that you ever need to push on, I'm just saying, come right on through because you seem like you're educated. You sound like you got what's going on. You never know until you get somebody in the hot seat what they're gonna sound like, and they like, no plan, no action, no whatever. But I know y'all definitely did not get that today. NAACP, we got new presidential candidate here, LLoyd Ford II. Look, I keep wanting to say junior. I keep saying.
My mom made it clear, no junior,
no
second.
Junior, the second.
Okay. Gonna be the third.
All right.
Well, I ain't gonna say coming soon.
So you make an announcement already?
Nah.
We almost got new information. Okay.
His wife is like, what?
That's news to me.
Like, who is that? From who? From where? We gotta talk when you get home, baby.
Hilarious. So everybody remember, we out here building families, we building the community. Make sure you take care of yours first, then spread it out. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. All right, well, we're going to let you go because we know you're a busy man. I'm sure you got a ton of things to do today. Again, thank you so much for coming into I'm Just Saying.
And Thursday, where they going to find you? 2002 Wheeler?
2002 Wheeler Street, 77004. Come out there and find us. We're going to be out there from 6 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. Come find us, come get some food, come check out, come hang out with us. We're going to be out there in front of the branch.
Okay, anybody who would like to share this interview with anybody, it was up live on Timeline Media Group. Make sure you go check it out on YouTube. I would love that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel while you are there. Okay, so anybody who needs to go back, get this little information, find out his details. Let's do it and share it. And share it because we want the word out there because that's what we're all about here at 95.3 Jam. So we definitely can't play any music, Miles. So you're gonna have to hop over here in this chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to hop over here in this chair. We're gonna get on down to these topics.
No doubt.
Our hot topics. We ain't gonna make him get involved in that, seeing as how he's running for an office. We don't want him to say anything incriminating, So everybody, while Miles is getting over here, since we just did that and I talked about city council people, I'm gonna use that as a segue. I'm very proud of Miss Amanda Edwards. She is now on the board, no problem, of the National League of Cities, okay, NLC. She is now on the board. She's traveling around doing her thing. She is trying to help other cities. She's on city council here, and we just love her to death. I love her to death. She always seems like she's having a really good time, and she enjoys what she does. Congratulations for making that board seat.
Yo,
I like that.
We need them everywhere.
Doing big things.
We need them everywhere we can put them.
Woo-woo.
Here's my biggest thing, and I hate to be this guy, right? But I'm gonna be this guy.
Okay.
A lot of times we get people in these positions, and then they forget why they get there.
Bye, everybody. Oh, they definitely do that.
A lot of times we do that. We get there, people forget why they're there. They get the money, they get persuaded over here. People talk to them over here. Money, get